Welcome back to Ask Allison. Here is today's question. Do you think it's possible to start a group practice when I don't currently have a private practice? I had my own practice for years while still working for an agency. Once I became a supervisor, I realized how much I enjoy this side of the work and am wanting to create my own business that works for me. I appreciate your insight. So first, I'd like to thank TherapyNotes for sponsoring Ask Allison. They are the #1 rated electronic health record system available today. With live telephone support 7 days a week, it's clear why TherapyNotes is rated 4.9 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot and has a 5-star rating on Google. TherapyNotes makes billing, scheduling, note-taking, and telehealth incredibly easy. And for you prescribers out there, they offer ePrescribe. If you're coming from another EHR, TherapyNotes makes the transition incredibly easy, importing your demographic data free of charge so you can get going right away. Find out what more than 100,000 mental health professionals already know. Use promo code ABUNDANT at therapynotes.com for 2 free months. So the tricky part about this is that most therapists starting a private practice are learning what marketing works for them. And it takes some time to really dial that in. And you need to have a therapist you're marketing in order to practice and see what works. Most of us learn by feeding our own caseloads. And it would take a special kind of employee to be okay with getting full anytime between 2 months and 2 years. So without practicing on yourself, you can't accurately predict. That being said, we need group practice owners who are doing it in part because they love managing therapists. Too many group practice owners do it because they have more referrals than they can take, and they start hiring people so they don't miss out on the income those referrals can bring in, and they don't have leadership experience, and they don't do a lick of leadership training. And these are often the bad bosses that therapists join my programs to get away from. So I don't want to discourage you. I want you out there being a good boss to therapists. Most group practice owners, once they have a few employees, aren't doing any therapy themselves. They're spending all their work time managing the practice. We just have to get you there. I don't know if you plan to start while working at your job or if you're going to leave and be able to devote all your time to it. If you're open to providing some therapy, it makes it a lower risk situation initially. And I can tell you, it is a lot of pressure to be responsible for people's livelihood. There is a devotion that is required beyond typical management to make sure that this person you've hired is making the kind of money that you agreed upon and is living a solid life financially when it comes to the money you're giving to them. All practices are faster and easier to fill if you take insurance. It is a harder, scarier thing to get off insurance later as a group practice, though. It's doable, but it's scarier because all of your employees' fear leaks into your own fear, and you have to make sure that they are supported and okay financially. So I want you to think really hard about whether you want insurance to be a part of your practice on the front end or not. Also, make sure both the business, which likely you're going to need to hire some non-income producing staff members besides yourself at some point, like an admin. So both the business and the therapists you hire can survive on the fee that insurance pays. My favorite resource for group practice is the Group Practice Exchange. You can learn how to structure your group practice, hone your leadership skills, get all the contracts and forms that you need, and have support for all the new problems that come up as you go. Maureen, who runs it, has a giant group practice, and I really respect the way that she's built a business that truly benefits the therapists that work for her, her community, and it makes a good profit. It's like a win-win all around. And lastly, I have very strong opinions about this. When you hire your first therapist, hire them as a W-2 employee, not a 1099 contractor. I know the 1099 situation is very common in most states. People started doing it because it passes the self-employment taxes on to the therapist that you hire instead of the owner paying payroll taxes. A lot of people then set their practice up like that because that's what they saw happening all around them. They didn't do the research. They don't know. I find that to be very exploitive. It also violates what the IRS clearly lays out in regards to when someone's a contractor versus when they're a W-2. And the free worksheet today explains how the IRS sees them as different roles, contractor versus like a W-2 employee. And this is good for those of you who are working in a 1099 right now in a group practice. I truly believe most group practice owners are just ignorant about it. And I mean, there's so much involved in starting a group practice. It's just something they didn't explore. They just followed the people they saw around them. but it ain't right. So some states have come down hard on group practice owners, and now it's really hard to find people doing it wrong in states like California who really led that charge. You can message me the word sheets, as in worksheets, and I will get that free worksheet to you. I hope you have a really great rest of your day. Take care.